Hello YouTube! In a different location today, which is sitting on the floor in front of the blanket that I've hung up on the wall with duct tape because I just had to film a self-tape. Also, my voice right now is all over the place because I was just belting for an hour. So I'm like, oh, I feel a little crazy. This is the first self-tape I've had to film in a bit actually, because auditions have really been back in person, which is nice and also like weird because audition processes have been very crazy lately. And I've been talking about this with a couple of different people that I've seen at auditions where it's friends or people I just meet while you're sitting there, that lately things have felt a little bit like the Wild West auditions wise, that it's felt very lawless and like there's no real rules and nobody really knows what's going on. It's been good getting back into in-person auditions. They've all been kind of all over the place. Case in point, last Friday, I was waiting at a principal audition for this theater in Long Island, thinking that I would get seen because it didn't seem like there was too many equity people there. It seemed like it was moving pretty quickly. And then I realized, along with everybody else who was in my position of being an equity membership candidate who was sitting in the room, we realized that more equity people were showing up and that in the room, they were asking them to sing a full song or two 32-bar cuts. So that's about 3 to 5 minutes for each person in the room. And I waited at this audition for 7 hours and didn't get seen. And it was like, oh God, this sucks. I was able to get work stuff done while I was sitting there and like apply to other auditions and look for other things. But it was just like, why am I sitting here wasting my time? But then yesterday, for the same theater, I was at their equity chorus call. And they said, we don't know if we're gonna see equity membership candidates or non-union, we're gonna figure it out. And it just happened to be there was another audition happening for equity actors at a different building that a lot of other people were at who were equity members, that I was able to get seen at the dance call and then the singing call. But for the singing call, I had to wait the whole time. For the dance call, it was in the morning at the same time as this other audition, so they just kind of slotted us all in and I was in the second group and got to dance, which was fantastic. And then for the singing call, which started at 2 p.m., I was sitting there and waiting. They were calling people's names, people were showing up, equity alternates, all that kind of thing. I got seen to sing at 5:15 p.m. So after I sang from them, they were like, thank you for spending your whole day with us. And I was like, thank you for the opportunity to spend my whole day with you. It was a very good audition day yesterday. I was very happy that I stuck it out and stayed the whole day and got seen. Auditions have been very interesting lately because with Actors Equity changing some rules recently in regards to equity membership candidates and kind of phasing out that program within the next 3 years and having open access, which is now a thing that anybody who's worked at any kind of professional theater can now join Actors Equity. There's an influx of new people who joined Equity who don't have a lot of experience within the industry because they're like, I booked one job and now I can join Equity and it's gonna make my life easier. There's that influx of people. And then every theater that I've been to an in-person audition for recently has had a different decision about equity membership candidates and where they fall in the audition, specifically in chorus calls. For the theater I was auditioning for yesterday, which is something that I was like, why has this never been a thing? It should always be this way. Always. They were running the chorus call in this sense of seeing equity membership candidates the same way an equity principal call is run. All the equity people and the equity alternates, and then EMC's equity membership candidates first, and then non-union. That's how an EPA is run, an equity principal audition. And as I was sitting there yesterday, I was like, why is this not how chorus calls have been run forever? Equity membership candidates, we've put in a lot of the work to get to where we're at. And we've just gotten the opportunities to work at theaters that have given us equity points. And we've also paid our first bit of dues to join Equity. So why should we not get a little bit of something at a chorus call? It's never been like this before, where it's always been that EMCs and non-unions are always lumped together. But we're not non-union. Like, we can work non-union and we can work equity contracts, but we're not just non-union. But again, every audition since Equity has made these changes has been, nobody really knows. They're also being run by the producers of the theaters. They're not being run by Equity at this point. So every theater is kind of making the decision for themselves of like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna see people? How are we gonna justify this? Like, everybody's made a different decision and it's kind of frustrating, but also like nice because I've been able to get seen for some auditions that I was like, oh, I wouldn't get seen for that if they were classifying us as non-union. And there's also been something else happening within auditions where they have online signups that are not through the Equity website. They're just like a sign up Genius link. A lot of the times the producers of the theater write, this is only for equity actors. If you're an EMC or non-union, we might see you or we're not seeing you at all. Or it's just said, this is a sign-up link for this audition. So EMCs and non-unions have just been like, well, there's a slot available, let's sign up for it. And then it kind of becomes something else. I had an audition probably like 2 weeks ago that was this situation where it was an online Sign Up Genius link that didn't specifically say that the audition was for Actors Equity members. It just said, this is an audition for the show that we're doing. Sign up for a slot. So I signed up for a slot and got my slot and got a confirmation email with it. This is important. Show up on the day of the audition for my time slot. The room is filled with people, which I was like expecting because people not getting appointments, non-equity, that kind of thing, people trying to get seen. There's a couple different sheets of paper on this table that's in the room, which is the EMCs and the non-unions sign-up list, the equity alternates sign-up list, which is all unofficial papers, and then a printed out sheet of paper that has a sign-in for people who have an appointment. I'm looking on this, my name is not on there, and I'm like, what is going on? And there's no equity monitor, there's no person in the room who's like kind of running the holding room at this point. So I'm like, I'm gonna stand my ground at this table, wait for whoever the producer, whoever it is, to come back into this room so I can talk to them about this. This older man finally comes in who's kind of the producer from the theater, and I mentioned this to him and he says, oh, what's your name and what's your equity status? I tell him my name and I say I'm an equity membership candidate, and he said, well, you should have been kicked off the list. And I said to him, no, 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 I have a confirmation email, whip out my phone and pull it out to show him. And he's like, well, that's kind of confusing because this is technically a call for only equity members. And I said to him, well, I'm an equity membership candidate and there are people on this list who also have appointments like me who are non-union. And I got my appointment, I got the slot, I would like to be seen, and I have a confirmation email that I should be here. And he says, okay, I'll put your name down on the list and see what I can do. I was not the only person who had this issue. Equity, EMC, non-union, a lot of other people had this issue in this group that I was in, that they were like, I signed up, I have a confirmation email for an appointment, whatever my union status is, my name's not on here. It was very confusing and people really didn't know what was going on. It seemed like the producer also was a bit confused about how to handle the situation. I ended up getting seen at the audition because they were like, well, you had a confirmed appointment, so we'll see you. And then got seen at this audition and got kept all the way to the end of it, which was really nice. I got to dance like 5 or 6 times doing this like crazy combo, and then sing a song for the entire creative team that was there, which was really nice. It's just been very interesting to see how things have changed recently with auditions coming back in person basically full time. I have said in other videos, like probably in 2020 or 2021, that I don't like self-taping, just because it's me being very nitpicky about myself and trying to get the details the best. Case in point, right now my voice is so tired from belting so much for this one song I was singing. I didn't need to sing it as many times as I did, but I just kept wanting to do something more with it. But I'm also kind of like, I kind of miss self-taping because it just helps to cut out the waiting period of things. And I'm like, yes, yesterday's audition was kind of a thing where I didn't really know what was gonna happen, if I was gonna get seen or not, and then got seen at both calls. If I had submitted to them, I don't know if that would have happened either, if they would have even watched my video. But for some of these other auditions, I'm like, I just wanna send a video, and if you like it, tell me you wanna see me in person. It's just, it's a mixed bag of liking being back in person and missing doing self-tapes and like trying to find the balance of it. I don't know. It's been like, okay, we're back in it. This is how it kind of was pre-pandemic, and now we're back to doing that all over again. But now I'm gonna go edit the self-tape and send it over and chill out for the rest of the day. I worked hard yesterday and today, and I have more auditions I'm gonna be sitting at tomorrow also, so it's been a busy week with auditioning and everything, but it's good to be kind of back to normal. Mushroom, what are you doing? I also have to like put back the room to normal from my self-tape setup. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for watching. D of TBA, and I will see you all next time. Bye.